Hello, everyone. It's Matt again, along with Dracky, and today I'm here to actually bring a new mascot in, and who's going to be helping me with pulls, but unfortunately, it's not happening right now. Goo is here as well, and we would like to introduce you to what we expect, or at least what I expect, for the next couple of at least S units that will be available in the game. There are at least one A unit along with each of these S units that will be available overall. Uh, and I also got to say that in gotcha and games like this where you draw units, there is a expected Japanese to global foresight. But some companies generally mess around with that foresight, and other companies are more straightforward. And generally, Square Enix is usually more straightforward. They do try and catch up with JP at some point, usually, so they're usually a little bit more accelerated. But once again, because this is such a new game, at least for global sense, that we don't really understand right now what we think that they're going to do or what they are planning on doing. So at this point, uh, this is going to be forewarned that this is my best attempt to show what JP had for the first four units, and then at that point, they could come in a different direction, etc. So, or they might even change some of their skills to make them more powerful as well. So, as I say, just be warned, but at least this should help you understand because I've been getting a lot of questions lately about, man, should I pull for this unit? Should I keep pulling, etc., etc. So hopefully this could at least help start answering some of those questions. So from the first unit that we have right now is dragonlord here, which I know I already went over with the last video, but he is still planned in the future, and from kind of the hint that we got on the event that hasn't popped up yet currently on global, that we will instead we'll talk about it as he's still probably the first unit that we are going to receive outside of the normal range. In Japan too, Dragon Quest, generally each banner lasts 3 to 4 weeks, usually around 4 weeks, and there are usually two banners, so there's a new banner every 2 weeks or so, maybe every 3 weeks, depending. So our first banner, as I say, is expected to be Dragonlord. He is an incredibly powerful mage, and he specializes in very damaging frizz spells. So his leadership effect, which is very powerful, increases frizz spell power by 20%. He is also, in case that people weren't there, the first I would call boss or enemy family type unit foe in the game, and as I say, he is primarily a spellcaster. He has three skills, all frizz. His first skill is just a simple frizz spell, MP16, inflicts 1 damage. Second one is just a very expensive frizz type spell that does 1 damage to enemy, does a lot of damage to. And the third one is a very powerful frizz type spell damage that is random, as it does 4 frizz type spells damage on enemies within the range, and that enemy, you center it on one and it goes into a box pattern here, so you can see the enemy, and it's a range of 2 away from that enemy, so you can need to get a little bit closer compared to the other units. As you notice here, only one of Dragonlord's skills is less than 70 MP in Japan. So his greatest weakness is that he uses a megaton of MP, and that he uses only Frizz spell. So one of the ways that you can get around that is that you focus and give him another element so that he is not totally locked into Frizz. Um, that's usually what people do for dragonlord, and that gets rid of one of the weakness, as I say. The other weakness is just MP consumption. And you can see his awakening skills here. All stats up every time you get a dragonlord. It gets additional Frizz attributes. The first one, swoosh resistance up 25. Second, purgatory magic bullet power up 5% for both the third and the fifth, and zap resistance at 4. So his main real power is that purgatory magic bullet. It does a massive amount of damage. It is somewhat random, but if there's only one enemy there, it will hurt it greatly, especially if it's weak against Frizz. The next one after that was, I'm calling it Red Dragon. In Japan, it was called 12 Dragons. So this is, or even Death or Darth Dragon. Or Dark Dragon as well. So the names are definitely subject to change on some of these. It is a dragon unit, as you can see here, and it's primarily a physical attacker. Its leadership effect is increases Jira attribute power and Jira's Sizz in Japan. So it is very, very good, as it will both do magic and physical Sizz type damage. It has 3 skills. Two of them are breath damage. So Red Dragon and Great Dragon work very well together. That's one of the reasons why I wanted Great Dragon was I know Red Dragon's involved. Red Dragon's a very powerful unit. Uses a lot of breath. Has a Sizz type for Breath of the Sword, which is 22 consumption, and a much more powerful version that costs 80. The other one it has is something similar-ish to is Flash Heat Slashing. Does Power Sizz attribute 4 times an enemy, but it's less power overall. But still, it's a 200%, and the MP consumption's less. The awakening skills, very similar here. Sizz attributes and status up at first one. Frizz resistance plus 25, volcano breath power plus 10, and Sam resistance at plus 25 with a 4. And so, generally, this one came out right after Dragonlord. Good physical attacker. And then surprisingly, Dragon King came out as well. One of the shocking is that with Dragon King, it's another one of the foe type enemies, which is nice. So the thing that's interesting is it is a dragon, but it doesn't have any breath attacks. And what's nice is its leadership effect is interesting as it reduces the enemy power by 20%. So it helps you stay alive longer. It has 3 skills in 2 different elements, and one is without element. The Black Claw inflicts 195% SAM physical damage on one enemy right in front. So it's a pretty powerful single attack. It has fire, which is a ranged. Does have breath. Breath taking damage of Frizz attribute to all enemies within range. Fire with 97. And Dragon Swing here is a nice circular around itself. 255% physical damage to all enemies within that range. this is a very interesting unit that has both AoE and range, and also in case it gets surrounded, can do a lot of attacking. Has different elements, doesn't focus on an element. This is a very powerful character. Um, Generally, when I seen it use the fire skill, and that's why I forgot it does use breath. Um, don't see it used as much, even though the computer will use it on auto. Generally, the Dragon King usually is up closer and will do the Dragon Swing. Um, but it's also, as I say, it has two separate elements, so this is great. Hopefully, we do get Dragon King as number 3. I will probably skip Red Dragon. I'm very much interested into Dragonlord. And depending on how things are going with my team at that point, I think Dragon King will be the next one as well. Because I would really like to have a Magic team and a Mine team at this point. I've always wanted to have a Dragon team, so it pains me to say that Red Dragon is probably a skip for me, but I just don't have a full team right now that would. I have the leader for it, but I just don't have a good enough team right now where I think the Red King would be as much of a benefit. But that's dependent on your units and your leaders. And so all that we can do is ensure that we give you the information necessary in order for you to make the correct decisions. So the awakening skill here is very interesting. So suddenly Bixon, it's a horrible translation, but basically increases attack for the first 3 turns, has zap resistance 25, dragon swing power +5 and +5 at the 5th one, and the 4 is swoosh resistance up 25 as well. So generally, Dragon King was a very interesting unit because the leadership effect allows you to stay alive for a lot longer. The skills are very unique. You have an AoE, you have a single attack, and you have a full box around as well. So you have range, you have a powerful single attack. The MP consumption is a little bit extreme with the big AoE, but overall, it is a very well designed unit, very powerful, very flexible, and that's why I highly recommend Dragon King. And then the last unit was an enemy in Dragon 10, but they're giving her a beast, Juliante. She is an attacker. She is very unique, though. Her leadership is very powerful because it affects everybody but only lasts 2 turns, but greatly increases the speed at the start of the battle for 2 turns, which allows you to have more accuracy and also potentially dodge, and allows you to attack first, which is sometimes if you have a magic team that might be a little bit slow. What you could do instead is if you have her as your leader, they could attack first, do AoE damage, destroy most of the front line. So from a leader, she is very interesting and unique in that regard. Would I like to have her? I think the answer is yes. Am I planning to pull hard on this banner? I'm not sure yet. This one I've actually got to kind of come up with and see what's exactly needed. She can fit, though, in any team as a leader with the speed for the first 2 turns. Excuse me, but some teams also don't want her because they're better off letting the enemy come to you, maybe absorb a blow or 2, and then just blow people out of the water with the limited movement that they have. First skill, also this unit is very interesting because it has a buffing skill, which is very helpful, which not a lot of units have. But the first skill is Fireworks. It uses zap power twice on an enemy. Its MP consumption's 25. So this unit has zap only skills. Still, actually, those are, or bang, depending on which way you want to call. But zap is a very powerful and unique skill, which not a great deal of S units have currently. So, as I say, she's a very odd unit. Doesn't truly fit in with teams, but she can be used in a lot of teams. Um, Fire is her buffing, 32 MP consumption, and increases the attack power of all within the range for 3 turns. Generally, what you do is she's going to go first on your team in round 1. You use fire, which will then boost everyone else up, and then you send them out to destroy. So she is really best to be your fastest unit, and then you can buff and then go. And so, as I say, that's why it's hard for me to recommend for my team, but it's hard for me to say, no, I'm not going for it either. Got to kind of see how I feel a little later on. And also, once again, depends on what my team actually looks like as well. Dragon Swing, MP consumption 67. Zap physical damage to all enemies within range. Has 3-star, so it's 3, and then has. So when I do star, it's 3 away, and then you do damage on each side here. The Awakening skill, she reduces MP, has increases Zap attributes as well for the first Awakening. Second is first resistance at 25. Dragon Swing instead of Summer Dragon Dance Power increase, and then Zam resistance at 25. So the Awakenings are all very similar in regards. They'll always buff up the last skill percentage-wise. So once again, I want to state that this could be changed completely by Square Enix when they come out with the schedule. I do not know when the schedule is. This is just what JP had for the first 4 units. Once again, as stated, our first event, which they said was going to be today, didn't start during, when our new day came along, as we thought. So they could also change the units when they are released. But this at least should give you a good idea what the next 4 S units are. Generally, those are the ones that you will be wanting to pull for. If you are interested in the A units, let me know, and I can also create a unit guide as well. But almost everybody's interested in the S units, as they are the highest damage or highest stat units, and they're the only units that can get to level 100, while Ace can only get to 90, and it goes downhill from there. So both Draki and Goo would like to wish everybody good luck. Hope you're having a great day, but more importantly, your Slurps, Slimes, and Drakis are even better. Good luck, and please have fun.